Welcome, foolish mortals, to another Monday. It is Memorial Day here in the United States and a bank holiday in the UK. Hey, Coaster Jen, how you doing? Hopefully you had a good day. I missed you guys' stream today, but I'll go back and I'll rewatch it at some point tomorrow when I'm at work. Hope everybody had a great holiday or is having a great holiday. Most people around here are just starting to get the barbecues going and go from there. What is up, Arcade Pop? How you doing? Chubby, how you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. Ready for the All Seas show in a couple weeks. Just about done getting all my stuff together. So hopefully I'll make some money to pay off a couple credit cards. We'll see. So today is kind of a different day because normally we do a mystery box Monday and talk and that kind of thing, but I'm out of mystery boxes for the moment. So what I've got today is take a look at some pieces from my Star Wars 30th anniversary carded collection of Star Wars figures. So got a whole bunch of those. Actually, most of the collection is here. And so take a look at those, some of the legacy figures, chat about each one, see which ones you guys think should be Black Series figures. One of the biggest problems with the Black Series is they love Leia, Han, and Luke and Vader, and they don't do any, and they love troopers because troopers are cheap. But they don't do aliens. They don't do a lot of droids. There's a lot of stuff missing in these sets, and I think there's some room for improvement. And I think the 30th anniversary line is a good way to go. Plus, some of these need to be put back out into vintage cards as well. So, as we're going along, first thing, pickups for this week. I didn't really get anything this week. I got some stuff last week. I'm super broke at the moment, so I haven't really gotten that much. But I did find one thing that I had to buy, and it was the Anakin Skywalker Clone Wars 6-inch figure. I do like this packaging. I really wish they do I wish they do this 30th anniversary packaging, or I wish they do them on this packaging. This packaging I really like. But, yeah, it was. And they did a lot of work on it. It was an incredible, it really is. You'll see them. They're a great series, and they really are vintage type figures. So, hey, what's up? So, and then apart from that, I did get some stuff from Big Bad Toys that had been sitting in my pile of loot for a little while. So, show you what I got. I got some figures from a 3 3/4 inch figures from Jim and the Holograms. This is, of course, Jim and Pizzazz. Let's see. These three are from Target. And Ant-Man. I love this packaging. And of course, as I say all the time, Bullseye. And then these did come from Big Bad Toys. Herman from the Munsters. His wife, Lily. And Grandpa, the great Al Lewis. So those are my new reaction figures, and Kenner Retro, whatever they want to call them. Why would he get one? He's only in 3 of the movies. That he's another one I don't understand why there isn't, and why isn't there a Lobot? There's a whole bunch of them. Yeah, I did go by the budget. Thankfully, when I got up to the register, they wouldn't let me buy those villains figures, so I didn't get to buy any of them. So the Ant-Man is very cool. Herman is amazing. I don't know why they didn't do the other 2, unless they're going to do the other 2 if they do a Monster Mobile. Oh my God, that'd be awesome. But And then also from Big Bad Toys, I did get some Funko Sodas, and I did get the Chase, and I got 4 different ones, and I got 3 Chases. So I was quite happy with that. Hey, Fabulous, how you doing? The first up was Beetlejuice, and instead of coming in the suit, his normal suit, he comes in his wedding gear. And then I got Egon from the Ghostbusters, but he was not a Chase. Whoop. So where did everybody go? There it is. The Monsters ones just hit. So I don't know. My local comic book store is usually a week or so behind in Super 7. So even my store should have them shortly. And then I got Fearless Leader. He's usually in a green outfit. It's from Rocky and Bullwinkle. And the Chase figure is a blue outfit. So I moved from the Army to the Air Force. And then the last is a Quisp character. He is an ad icon. He's a cereal guy from the 60s and 60s and 70s. You can apparently get the cereal again. They've started reproducing it. And in the normal one, he comes with a bowl of cereal in his hand. And the Chase comes with a box of Quisp. So I was happy. I got 3 out of 4 Chases. I will never give that up. That's an incredible pull. Yeah, especially for me. I'm lucky if I get a Chase every so often. Yes, I would. I would gladly show that. So for those of you who's over on the Dude's Nerdery, we were talking about a Michael Jackson song called Speed Demon. Let's see, invite, copy. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Send. Okay. So, Salacious, I sent that to your Instagram. If you want to pop on, you may, and you may share it. You may even play the video, as long as there's no song longer than 10 seconds. Of course I would. I do have 2 of them. I couldn't tell you which one because they don't have their helmets off. These are the only 2 of these I have found, and I had to go to Kansas, one state over, to find them. I've yet to see any Bad Batches in the store. I got the Elite Squad Trooper, who we eventually saw in episode 3, and then I got Hunter, Space Rambo, Space Daddy, whatever you want to call him. But yeah, I got those 2. The first 5 episodes have been pretty good. This last episode with the Rancor was okay. The episode before that was just filler, just giant filler. I don't get where they're going with the show. It doesn't seem to be going anywhere. It's a lot of side quests. Somebody said it's a lot like The Mandalorian. Yes, I can help you, but you have to do this for me, which is pretty much how the world works. But it seems like they have a plot, but we don't seem to be getting to it. Wow, that's a lot of kisses. I've got the 2 kisses that are out. There may even be 3. But I haven't gotten a Chase out of either of those yet. And I liked the first episode a lot. The second episode was cut. I thought they were going to do something with that by saying that, that Rex was just here, and then they didn't do anything. And then the next episode, they didn't do anything. And this episode, they really didn't do anything. And Omega is a lot like Wesley Crusher at the moment to me. I felt the same way about Ahsoka at first, too. She was a very annoying character, but Filoni deliberately made her annoying so that you love her. But I'm not going to fall for that trick again. So I do like Omega. She seems like a nice character, but she's annoying, and I don't like the Wesley Crusherness of her. Now, my biggest fear with the Bad Batch is been shown in the last couple episodes where Wrecker has been having some issues with his chip, and I'm afraid that that's going to activate someday, and they're going to have to put him down like Old Yeller. You know, I don't want it, but you know, yeah, it's a lot of it's a very side questy show, which is fine because side quests can develop, you know, character stuff too. Thank you, John. If you guys haven't been watching John Joker's trivia challenges, I believe there's another game tonight, John, if I'm not, you know, mistaken. And so make sure you catch that after my show. I think he's on at 6, my time at least. So in a couple hours. But it's a great trivia show. It's random stuff. I was lucky to pull out a win. Ed Guerrero was my opponent, and he was very knowledgeable on a lot of stuff. So, and it was great to get to know him. It's the first time I'd ever gotten to meet him. So, yeah, and the Wrecker keeps having head damage. So, the first episode, he throws tanks off of a side of the cliff. Then another episode down, he gets his butt kicked by Finnick. And then this episode, he punches a baby Rancor and defeats it. He's the biggest, strongest ever, except when he doesn't need to be. Except, you know, judo and aikido and stuff, you get around with that. So, yeah. I like to blow things up because I like to blow things up. These are right. I like him a lot. Okay, not today. Okay, because of the holiday. Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. But yeah, it's, you know, it's a very much. I think Filoni is setting me up to really care a lot about Wrecker because he's like the lovable uncle to Omega. He made her her own room. He gave her his doll, his little stuffed cat thing. And I really think they're building Wrecker up to, you know, have us fall hard with him. And I don't want that. I don't think Crosshairs will kill him. If they're going to go true old Yeller fashion, then they'd have to have Omega do it, which that would be devastating to her character, and a lot of people would be upset, which is why you should do it. Yeah, I do love Wrecker. He's great. I wish they do more with Echo. Echo seems to be forgotten. You know, Tech, you know, seems to do his stuff, and Wrecker does his stuff, and Space Rambo does his stuff. But, you know, Echo just is kind of there. Is like a droid that talks. It's weird. So, I don't know. The last thing I got before we move on completely is I got a new Funko Pop. It's a Target exclusive brand from the Goonies. There's 4 new ones, so I need to get all 4 of these. There's actually 5 if you count brand. There may even be a Walmart exclusive that I have to keep an eye out for, which is there might be 6. I've started really not buying a lot of Funko and have tried to stay away. But the Funkoween stuff they just put out, there were several in there I really wanted that sold out before I could even get to it as usual. So, you know. I don't know how everybody would act if Omega turned to the dark side. I mean, there are a couple Inquisitors we don't know anything about. So that would be interesting. But I'm afraid that when we meet up with Rex, Ahsoka's going to be with him. Wrecker's going to see Ahsoka and go nuts, trying to kill her. So, I mean, I don't know. Hello there, General Kenobi. Hey, Adam, how you doing? Hey, Brandon, if you want to come on, be more than welcome to come on if you want. I know you've been streaming since God knows how early this morning. You were streaming when I got to work, I mean. So if you want to come on, I just sent you a link into Instagram. So we're just kind of chatting at the moment, and then I'm going to do 30th anniversary figures. But I'm still enjoying um, uh, Bad Batch a lot. I just am kind of, I don't know. I want more out of it. Um, you know, everybody's saying hi. Um, and it's not that I need action every episode. I don't need action. I just want some story. Just a little bit of the plot moving forward. I mean, what is Crosshairs doing? We've now gone almost 2 episodes without seeing anything Crosshairs and that little group of theirs is doing. What are the Caminos up to? That kind of thing. I am waiting for Loki too, very much so. I can't wait. It's going to be a weird show because now this technically takes place. This is the fourth movie or fourth thing in the MCU, because since it takes place right after the end of the Avengers, that timeline, nothing that happened after it, none of the sequels, Endgame, none of that stuff has happened. So it'll be interesting to see how, none of the Spider-Man movies will have happened. So Tom Holland, he doesn't even exist in that. It's time travel can make your eyes go cross. Hey, sleeping. Hope you have had a good trip. By now, you should be home. So I hope you're stretched out on the couch relaxing, because tomorrow is going to be a pain in the butt for that wheel. Last time I knew, you said you had about 320 people on it. So, you know. Shh, don't talk about the wheel. She'll hear you. Well, yeah, I mean, geez. I mean, we've got the Bad Batch now. Loki is coming up. Then Black Widow. Then Venom is next. Then Shang-Chi. Then the Eternals. Then Spider-Man. Is there a TV? What If is in the middle there somewhere. Then at the beginning of next year, there's Morbius, and there's Thor, and the Poe Dameron show is at the beginning of the year next year, I think. The Book of Boba Fett's in December. God, there's so much. It's just, that's true. It is just keeping track of Marvel some days. You know. That happens. That happens every time I stop somewhere in the middle. We stop and see friends on the way back. We're like, okay, we're gonna stay for an hour. 4 hours later, we really need to go. Um, I I don't know, because I'm not sure what kind of money they threw at it. I wouldn't be surprised to see, maybe in some sort of flashbacky way, Chris Helmsworth, Chris Evans, maybe Tony. I don't, because he can't interact with everybody the way he does now, simply because he's not the Loki we know. He's the evil Loki who just got his butt kicked in the tower. So he's not the devil may care Loki who, we've seen in Thor 2, Thor 3, and Endgame and all that. He's evil still. I would suspect we'll see some background characters, some Marvel background people in like the time police area. I would love to see Howard the Duck, just for no reason. Howard should take over and just kind of be in the background of things randomly from now on. Oh yeah, Doc Strange. I forgot all about that. See, there's too much. Well, I thought Armor Wars got moved till next year. I don't know. They can't have something every week. There's not enough. The Miss Marvel show I thought got pushed. That might be November. She-Hulk is definitely next year. The Captain Marvels is in 2023. Geez, I don't know. Not a whole lot. We've been talking about how outrageous it is that they have so much coming for Marvel, and how, between Marvel and Star Wars, how there's something out constantly. Yeah, season 3 will be cool. I don't know when the Alien series is due out. I don't know, because that was that got caught up in that which shall not be named. So hopefully, maybe by this Christmas, maybe they'll show it for an October release. I would not put that past him. It'd be a good way to explain it, because now you have to remember that since Thor went back in time, well, supposedly Captain America was supposed to drop that off at that exact same time. I don't know. There are so many overlapping timelines now, and no matter what they told you in Endgame, they lied, because in Loki they clearly show that it branches and makes new lines, like it does in Back to the Future 2. So it's not all this you can just drop back down and fix everything thing. It would be interesting to see what they do with that. I would like them to maybe use this to pull in some of the Netflix guys. Maybe this is how they bring Daredevil in, or something like that. That would be kind of cool. I don't think they're going to spend the money to bring, big stars. You're not going to see, I guess if you really think about it, this could be the way they bring Scarlett Johansson back into the MCU, is they can use Loki's time traveling to do that. I mean, they could bring almost anybody back to life who's dead now, including Coulson. That would be cool. But, Loki would say, "Didn't I kill you?" But I don't know. We need more information. But that show starts in a couple weeks. So, we're not going to get another trailer. And I just hope it's something we can all sit around and talk about. It gives us more information to talk about on the stream on Mondays. And, I think, maybe one of the big Marvel guys who really wants to would be cool to set up a kind of a, like the Bad Batch thing that Brandon and Bailey are doing now, but for Loki. So, yeah, he's definitely in She-Hulk. So, Adventurer, if you want, I'll put you on. If you want to drop on for a few minutes, say hey. Yeah, I can't cover. There's too much. There is just too many options with Loki. It really is just so much that you can't see. I don't even know where to go with that sentence, because you can't, because it's time travel and it's Marvel, and so you don't have a you guys are right. But yeah, I'm just looking forward to it. Yeah, I'm surprised that you're still around. Thank you for. I know it's about. Is it 11:30 or 12:30 your time over there now? But we'll set it up. We'll get it, and I get off at 2 in the afternoon most Mondays, so we'll set something up where the stream starts at like 2:30 or 3, so that it gives you an extra hour. And because I'd love to sit and talk with you, man, I really would. So. Yeah, there's a great possibility because all of that happened before before WandaVision, years and years, a decade before, really. Ooh, yeah, go get some sleep. We'll catch up. And I wouldn't be surprised that if in the end he breaks something, he finds out he's dead, and he tries to save himself, and by saving himself, he actually breaks the multiverse, which would make sense. Since then, no, because Spider-Man comes out first, and that's in December. So I don't know. So I'll go with don't know. Now the multiverse already exists, but the multiverse exists because of Thanos to start with, and the multiverse started in Endgame. Now Wanda may open the door a lot wider, looking for her kids, but those aren't going to be her kids. Those will be some other Wanda's kids. Although Wanda is a Nexus being and is supposed to be the same in all dimensions, blah blah blah. One Wanda is not going to like her kids being taken away from her. So we'll see. No, I don't think she's ever met Loki, simply because he was dead by the time Endgame came around, and he wasn't there in Ultron. Now she knows of him, but she's never met him. Yeah. Oh, I don't doubt that at all. It'll be interesting to see. The Eternals is kind of a big what if thing. It's almost as big as if Guardians of the Galaxy was being done again, where everybody was like, "What? Who are these people? And what?" So there's so much not known. It's not a very popular title, never was. So it'll be interesting to see where they go from there. Um, I'm going to pick up the Wanda. I do not pick up Marvel Legends figures, but I saw the Red Skull and that Wanda, and I really want both of them. So, hey, Abducted, how you doing? It'll be interesting to see about the Eternals. I can't wait. Oh, cool, sleeping. I had to order myself a couple of pint glasses today with my logo on it for some friends. So, I didn't know that backstory. That'd be interesting. I think it'll be a nice cleanser because it won't be so heavily. It's probably the first Marvel movie in a while that you can walk into not really having to know a lot, simply because they're not going to be connected to a lot of things yet. Because it starts so long in the past, now it'll technically be the first MCU movie. But where you go, I think it's I think it's a clean movie. You're going to get some crossover people that we haven't really seen yet and stuff like that to kind of tie it to the other stuff. But I think this will be more of a clean movie. And they learned what they did wrong with the television show. So I've only seen the Vision wave out of that, Blue, but I do like that wave. Nice. Also, Smiths has tons of Marvel Legends figures over there. Yeah, and he'll get that stuff quick. Their contract still isn't up for contract. Their contract with Disney, they still have one more movie beyond this that they can use Tom Holland in. And I think that's going to be Doctor Strange. But I think Sony is not stupid. They see the money they're raking in, and I think this Venom movie is going to do much better than the other one, simply because it looks better to start with. And people, for some reason, like Carnage. I don't know. I don't like anti-heroes. They don't really do it for me. But I think it's going to do a lot better. I don't think if they're going to move forward with Kraven the Hunter versus Spider-Man, it'll be interesting because Sony has kind of put feelers out, and so has Tobey Maguire, that Tobey would like to come back and do another Spider-Man movie. And Andrew Garfield has said he wouldn't mind coming back and finishing his trilogy. Well, we can't have 3 Spider-Man movies running in 3 different timelines, plus anything they do with Marsalis. So I think they're going to be stuck picking one or the other, and they're going to go with Tom Holland. He's the moneymaker. So we'll see. And I think once they get it back, you know, oh, cool. It is. It was a nice slow day at work, which, as long as there aren't humans around to bug me, is always a good day at work. And there was almost nobody around. So I like the look of the toy box figures. They're not quite, I can't remember what that game was called that it's kind of based off of, but I actually like those. I think I have a Grievous one. I have a couple of them, but not very many. I want to go get the Mandalorian one, but my Disney store is way across town, and I just haven't gotten over there yet. Yeah, yeah, I got the Grievous. Of course, you got the Leia. I should have known that. Nachos. That sounds good. I'm broke, so I went to the dollar store for stuff and got uh, tuna for the next couple of days until I get paid, which I hadn't had in a long time. I forgot how much I like tuna sandwiches. Yeah, I'd pick up a couple mules, especially like Boba Fett or Invader is a nice looking figure. Um, they've got a whole bunch of them now. I think now that I remember, I've got the Jack Skellington one. Um, I haven't gotten over there in a while, and I need to, um, because they supposedly have some other stuff on sale as well. So nachos. So now, if you guys get bored with this, let me know, and we'll stop and either continue talking, or we can always talk about stuff as you go along. Drop whatever questions you've got, history, philosophy, figures, movies, TV, whatever, music. And yeah, that's what I'm going to have tomorrow. In the comments. But I'm going to start because this is a pretty, there's actually like 50 figures here to look at. We might not do all of them simply because that's a lot of figures. I didn't know there were so many when I got this box out. So, that sounds good. It's been nice and cool here for the past 3 days. A little rainy, very, very spring-like or late fall. Oh, so nice. So, anyway, so these figures came out in 2007 and 2008. There were about 60 different ones of them, and so they really did a great line. They did the Saga Legends. There's another 20 in that. So in 2 years, we got just about 90 figures in the 3 3/4 inch figures. And I don't remember a time when the pegs didn't have figures on them. You could always get something. There was stuff for all 6 movies from the time. There's even some stuff from the holiday special, things like that. So Hey, Wrestling, how you doing? So we'll start off with something I do think should be a Black Series figure. And these were in all three of the prequels. And it's a Destroyer droid, Droid Deca. It comes with all the 30th anniversary figures came with a coin, and it comes with an energy shield around it. Now, this, you could size this up and make a deluxe figure out of it. Because, we've got Jar Jar, we have clone troopers, we have a couple battle droids. Where's everybody else? We don't have any. We don't have Newt Gunray. We don't have. Who's General Grievous leading? We don't have a super battle droid, which I think comes up. So Next up is Clone Trooper. He's from the 7th Legion. Let's see, Clone Trooper. Well, it doesn't say who his commander is, but he's from Revenge of the Sith. Another Stormtrooper. This is simply an Imperial Stormtrooper, though. He's from A New Hope. This is a really well done figure. All these have really a lot of points of articulation. This is another trooper, and this is an airborne clone trooper. So, and you can see it's gold with a gold coin. This was called a Galaxy Chase, and randomly in the boxes, a lot of the figures have a gold chase. I got a couple of them, but not as many as I wanted. Here is A New Hope Darth Vader. Great figure. He comes with a cloth cape. A lot of these all come with cloth. And really, this is what became the vintage line. A whole bunch of these got repackaged as the vintage line later. In fact, they're still doing that in some cases. Here's a Galactic Marine. Another contender for what should be in a 6-inch line. They keep making Landos, and we're finally going to get a Lando in Corellian pirate gear. In smuggler's outfit, I mean. This is from the end of Empire Strikes Back, of course. Yeah, you'll get in a fight in Texas if you want to put beans and then call it chili. Yeah. And the battle droids were great, and you don't have to make them transform. You don't have to put a ton of work into it. Just make me a figure. I would probably open one because they're very cool. Yep. And how hard was it? Here is The Empire Strikes Back in holographic Darth Vader. And this is from Revenge of the Sith. This is R2-D2. He can fly now? Yes, he can fly now. He came with when he shot the oil underneath those super battle droids and then flew away and lit them all on fire. It's a great figure. But we don't need another R2. Here's the silver version of that airborne trooper. Here is a good one. This is another gold Galactic Hunt. This is from Revenge of the Sith. This is Mace Windu when he is reflecting the Emperor's wrath. And so you get all this cool electricity that wraps around his saber. And it's very cool. The hero of the Republic, who probably has as many figures as some, and more than a lot, Rebel pilot Biggs Darklighter. Great sculpt on his head, removable helmet, It's a great figure. There's actually a couple of him in this series. Here is the Revenge of the Sith Darth Vader. Comes with a slightly different paint job, but nice cloth cape. This actually came with a little binder that you could put all your coins in. But I bought several and got them out. Now this guy, this is Yoda, and this is Yoda from the Clone Wars cartoon series. I'll show you the back in a second. And he's got his Kaibak. And it's from the Tarkovsky, whatever that guy's name is, series, not the Clone Wars animated. It's the animated series, not the CG one. Let's put it that way. So I thought it was pretty cool. Comes with this is the only time we've ever gotten this horsey thing. Why didn't they use these for the space horses in Rise of Skywalker? Don't know. Why do we have space horses? This clone trooper got a little smushed. So this is a training fatigue clone trooper. So it's got a whole bunch of snap-on armor. He's actually bent in a couple spots. I need to put him aside so that I can go on eBay and find myself a new one. I make it off and on with one or the other. Sometimes I forget. He might. I'll have to ask him. He's in here somewhere. Now, the next figure, this is a wave I think they should completely redo in Black Series form. These are the Ralph McQuarrie concept figures. And this is what he had originally wanted the Rebel troopers to look like. And you can see up on the corner how it's completely impractical as a figure. I mean, as a costume. Let's see if I can stop it from focusing on my head. Yeah. Anyway. So I really think they should do the entire wave of these as a series, a subset, like a gaming grades or the book ones that they do now. I think it would be very cool to do. Here's another character from the Clone Wars series. This is Rodon Korob. Here's what he looks like from the cartoon. He was a Jedi Master. And we really don't get many, I think they're called Iotians, Ithorians, something like that, I can't remember. Hammerheads. So, we don't get a lot of aliens. And so, yeah, I buy that whole line. And some of them, like, we'll eventually get to a couple more, I think. Well, here's one right now. So here's the concept Darth Vader. I would probably buy that and open it. And I don't open a lot of stuff. So it's got two heads. One is slightly smaller than the other simply because he did two different drawings of Vader. But I love this line. Of 11 years. I'd say it was 2007. Add 10, 13 years, 13, 14 years. I bought them all when they came out. That was back when I wasn't missing, trying not to miss things. This is from Revenge of the Sith. This is Obi-Wan Kenobi when he's battling General Grievous on Apu or Atu, or my mind doesn't keep planetary names in very well. It used to. Here is another from the Clone Wars cartoon series. This is Anakin Skywalker, and he's got all his tattoos on him. But when they made the figure, they kind of made it in between Anakin and him, and you can see he's got all his tats on his side. They could easily do that one, and I think yes, yeah, it would sell, and they could make it another exclusive. I'm sorry, I know everybody hates exclusives, but that is a line that maybe someplace like Big Bad Toys or Entertainment Earth could do as an exclusive. You do one figure, it has 10,000, 15,000 as a print run. Then you go, or make it a Hasbro Pulse exclusive, but not just for their damn members. Oh, thanks, Jedi. And if you guys get bored, let me know. Oh, yeah. That's it. Oh, here, in fact, is that figure everybody's been dying to see. C-3PO with Salacious Crumb. And you can see 3PO has got one of his eyes pulled out a little bit. He's got Jabba goo all over him. Great figure. Really great. Yeah, there's several from the cartoon line. I've got another one in here. It's a werewolf dude who's a Jedi Knight. And, they didn't walk away from that series. Everybody says, oh, they walked away from it. No, they didn't. It was there. They just didn't do a lot with it. Because with such short run times, they were like 5-minute run times. It didn't work. Okay, here is a Jawa with an LIN droid. Stupid thing. There we go. And I like this Jawa because he not only has the bandolier, but he has a different colored jacket. So if I open things, which I don't, but and the LIN droid, he's a demolition droid. So here it is. Now they even started doing, and they did these in the vintage line later, but they started doing stuff from cutscenes. And this is Big's Darklighter as he looked from the cutscene from A New Hope, when him and Luke were talking about going to the academy before R2 and 3PO get down there. And you can kind of see a picture from the cutscene back there. And again, he's got a soft goods cape. Very nice. Oh, that's just a silver version. Oh, here we go. This is a super battle droid from the beginning of Revenge of the Sith. He's got the flames, so this figure kind of goes with that R2-D2 one. You can pop these flames off him. As far as I know, maybe not. But either way, we should need a super battle droid as a Black Series figure. So I do need to register that Crumb, but he's not really my Crumb. He's Crumb's Crumb. So I need to get my own Joaquin Monkey Lizard, so I can do him. This is the Rebel Honor Guard. He is from the end of A New Hope, when everybody's getting their medals except Chewbacca, because they're racist. But he's another one who would be a great figure. Good army builder. This is also from a cutscene. This is Luke Skywalker, Moisture Farmer, from A New Hope. This is from when that scene is supposed to end with Luke looking up at the Star Destroyer attacking the Rebel blockade runner. And so this is actually a cutscene figure. This would have been the first time we saw Luke, which is funny because here he doesn't have his hat, and in a minute you'll see that they made another one with his hat. This is one I definitely want as a 6-inch figure. Hey, Mike, how you doing? We were just going over some, I got my 30th anniversary figures out. I'm going to put all these in star cases and then put them on the wall. So before I did that, I wanted to show everybody. This guy is Tycho Tequili, meh. He's an A-wing pilot. When have we ever gotten a good A-wing pilot? Except with the A-wing. So I want a Black Series figure of this guy. It's from Return of the Jedi. You could even just, they have A-wings in a couple of the other movies. You could put them in there. I just love he comes with the soft hat, comes with his helmet. Here is Han Solo. This is just Han Solo. He's got his communicator on. It's obviously just a way to make a new Han Solo because it's when he's in his gunner's seat. So take a break for a sec here. Everybody say hi. I'm very close to doing at least this room as a walk around, so I will at some point. Hey, de Gupta. Everybody say hi. De Gupta, very popular man as usual. Oh, that's my gold. Okay. Now this is a crazy one that I think they need to make as a Black Series figure. This is a Mostafarian lava miner. They're not seen for very long in the movie, but I love the design of him. And I think it would make a great 6-inch figure. And later there's one that comes with the little droid. And I think, you could package that with that and make it a deluxe figure and people would buy it. I did. If you guys want to go back to the Peg Warmers, last episode of the Fet Peg Warmers was on Mark's channel, I think. I haven't tagged it on my channel. I've got a little thing of all the Peg Warmers, so you can watch them all if you want. And I did do a little bit of a walk around, showing off some Funko and things like that. So if you want to go back and look before I do the long one, because I'll actually do it slower and I'll talk about stuff. So it might take upwards of a half hour just to do it by myself. So thanks to Gupta. Oh, now this is a character you'll recognize because they reused this design. So this is the Ralph McQuarrie Chewbacca. And you'll kind of recognize the design because this is the design they used for Zeb in Rebels. Not the same, but very close. And again, I think there's 8 or 9 Mcqueary figures in this collection. And I think people would buy them. I think they'd buy them all. Now we're getting to ones that definitely need to be done. This is Darth Malak. I think he definitely needs to be done as a Black Series figure. This is also one. Should be a Gaming Greats figure. This is the battle damaged Darth Vader from Force Unleashed. So his leg has damage, his chest, part of his head has been torn off. His you can't see it because you can't see it, but part of his mask is all chipped. It looks like a lot like the battle damage Ahsoka does to him in Rebels, but I definitely think we need those. Yeah, there's the last episode of the Peg Warmers. We had a good time. Oh yeah, the I don't know. Do I even have any of those out here? Might not. I don't know if I ran across that box when I was putting stuff out. No, doesn't look like I do. But I have most all of those. I do, and I did really like those quite a bit. They're great little sets. Now, nobody can say we don't need this. Darth Revan. And I mean, I want one that looks like this. I know there's a couple Darth Revans already, but, you know, I don't know. I need another one because I didn't get one. Randomly I'll see one, but I never have the cash for it. So I don't get it. Oops. And this is the reason I'm putting them in star cases, so that they can not get smushed a little bit. Death Star Trooper. Very basic army builder. You know. Here is Luke Skywalker in his ceremonial gear from the end of A New Hope. Yeah, they don't do a lot of two-packy things anymore, because every time they do a multi-pack, nobody buys it. It's dumb. I don't know why, because I like multi-packs. As you can see over here, this is the George Lucas family pack. It has him and his 2 daughters and his son in a pack. I love that pack. It's great. Nice. Those are weird, Adam. If you haven't seen them, they're Star Trek: The Next Generation Oreos from 1987, 8, something like that. And they're Oreos that have like the Enterprise and a Ferengi Marauder and stuff like that printed on them. And yes, they're still in there. No, I will not eat them. Here is one I don't need a Black Series figure for. C-3PO with a battle droid head. I was not a big fan. I'm not a big fan of 3PO overall, but if I want him, I want him in a nice shiny form. You know, very good, very good. Hopefully yours is 2 max. Sometime around The Last Jedi, I would say, because up until that point we were still getting stuff. They really tried hard with Force Awakens. They got burned by some stuff, and then by the time Last Jedi came around, you know, they still had stuff sitting on the shelf from that. They had stuff from Rogue One. Then, you know, they ended up with Solo, and I think there was just too much stuff too fast. Too many movies too fast. And instead of putting them on, I don't even have one of those cards around here, which is, you know, surprising for me, on a vintage card where all they did was change, you know what I mean, when they changed the name from Star Wars to Attack of the Clones to The Force Awakens, something like that, and keeping all the packaging the same. All the packaging was different. So by the time you got to Han Solo, you still had Force Awakens, Last Skywalker, and Rogue One stuff on the peg hooks as well. And it cluttered the peg hooks. It cluttered the look of Star Wars. It cluttered the message. So I think that's when they really stopped. That's when they kind of pulled back. Ooh. My favorite Luke. I'm gonna have to go with the Return of the Jedi. Luke. I don't think he's in here. He might be, with the cloth cape, and green saber, and you know, Jabba's palace. Luke is probably my favorite Skywalker. You know, that's another thing we were talking about that too, and we do think there needs to be a creators line. You could do George Lucas, you could do Ralph McQuarrie, you could do, Dave Filoni. You know, they'd want a Kathleen Kennedy. They wouldn't be smart if they did one, because it wouldn't sell. But they might sell just to burn them. I don't know. Those fandom menace people are weird. But it could be a subline of this creator. Do a creators line. And concept and creator. The next one I'm going to show you is another good one. Yes, Yes, the pop apart 3PO. That's a good one. That is very true. I don't think that's true. Hasbro's had the line for almost 25 years now. So it's not that they don't care. I think some of the people in charge might not care as much, and they're tired. They're burnt out of Star Wars. They're afraid of peg warmers, and I think they need to just dump stuff. Just put stuff back out. People will buy it. We also talked about that, Robert. We were talking about what they could do, a what if kind of show for Star Wars, but they'd be like hour-long animateds. And you could start doing some of the books and some of the old EU, some new EU. Can you imagine the Thrawn saga now, or uh, um, Lost Stars, stuff like that as animated? I don't know why there wasn't some sort of animated thing for the new stuff they're doing, the High Order. Um, Without something visual to connect it to, I don't think it's going to do as well. Hey Tasman, what's up? How you doing? That's what I do to Gupta. I just do everybody all at once. It's easier. Catch up here for a sec. Yeah. Cat, how you doing? They'll never give the license to anybody else because you're not going to find anybody else who cares as much as Hasbro does. Mattel's not going to make figures. What figures does Mattel make now? Nothing. He-Man that you can't get. I mean, you're not going to, you know, what they do WWE? I don't know. It's a question of will to do it. I think that they really need to uh, just take the chance. And when they took chances with Rise of Skywalker and the Last Jedi, they got burned. And now they're kind of getting burned because it took so long to get the child merchandise out that now all there is child merchandise everywhere for a show that hasn't even been on the air in half a year already now. So, Mark, there's a question for you. Why don't they vac metalize droids anymore? And cost is not an acceptable answer. They don't vac metalize anything anymore, really. That'd be a good idea. That Star Wars Adventures comic is pretty cool, and it could pretty much do anything that you'd want it to do. You just have to say that it's not canon, and it's easy enough, you know. Yep. And again, they weren't prepared for that either. Nobody was prepared for that which must not be named. Or when you had more stores, you had more video games ready to be put out. You would had, it's devastated the movie and television industry because all that stuff's got pushed off. Look at poor movies like Black Widow, Shang-Chi, and especially Ghostbusters Afterlife. Ghostbusters Afterlife is going to be almost 2 years late now. Target has already started clearancing the Ghostbusters stuff again. Walmart never got that stuff back in after they clearanced it. Now they've got the real Ghostbusters stuff. And there is supposed to be Ghostbusters merchandise for Afterlife. But once it got pushed back, hopefully that stuff's just not sitting somewhere. Wonder Woman 84, Black Widow, all that stuff was in the stores just as It Must Not Be Named happened. And then eventually it was all clearanced out because nobody knew what it was for. If Hasbro was smart, they would have reproduced a limited number of Black Widow figures and put them on Hasbro Pulse. because those Legends figures are going to go up in price. If you have them anywhere near where you live, purchase them because you'll be able to sell them for a profit pretty quickly, I think. So, yeah, they say it's something to do with um, how the aerosol stuff works or something. Who cares? Um, the Razor Crest, yeah. I don't know if they're going to do space. I think they were spaced out with the last movie. The last movie, whether or not anybody liked it, which I did, I didn't. I didn't like Mutt, and some of the CG was horrible. But that's because we've served so long, we were used to everything in Indy being basically practical or a model, which is a practical effect. You didn't have CG for any of the Indiana Jones movies. You know, they were all matte paintings. They were drop-ins. Now, they in Young Indiana Jones Chronicles was developed so that they could try to perfect computer-generated effects. There's a lot of stuff in the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles that's computer done because that's where they were testing the stuff before they did the Phantom Menace. But I think that just like the original indie films were homages to the serials, the adventure serials of the 40s and earliest 50s, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was very much like a kind of like a television serial of the real Flash Gordon and stuff like that. And they all did alien stuff. It also harkens to the ancient aliens theory and stuff going around in the 60s and 70s called Chariots of the Gods, which is an interesting documentary if you ever want to watch it, which is basically the original Ancient Aliens. How the History Channel's moved that into a 15 season show, I have no clue. But I hope that that's not true. And if it is, I want him to go up there and find out that Hitler escaped to the moon and has been living there trying to get back, and that there are dinosaurs. I want him to go nuts. But supposedly it's actually supposed to be closer to something about the Fountain of Youth. So I hope so. I do want shiny droids. There has to be a paint that will do that. You know, I hope so. We'll see. I'll go to it anyway. I don't care. It's Indiana Jones. And much like Star Wars, more Indiana Jones is more Indiana Jones. And I've read all the books. I own the comics. I've watched the movies. I own the television series. You know, yes. Yeah, they took a huge bath on that. Huge bath. Yeah. Ooh, I can't wait for those videos. Well, Toys R Us only was doomed once they were forced to absorb $4 billion in debt. Once the stores were forced to do that, they couldn't do anything. They couldn't pay their creditors. They didn't even pay Funko. Funko cut them off because they couldn't pay it. I mean, I would love them to do that. And on Instagram today, I ran into a guy who, I wonder if I can, let me see if I can see that. I don't know if I can show you this or not. Um, let's see. This may not work because I can never it doesn't ever want to um, let me share things. We'll get back to the figures here in a sec. I want to show you guys this since we're talking about Indiana Jones. There's a guy. Now, he isn't doing figures as yet. He actually has just started. But this is an interesting idea. Okay, let me see if I can share this or not. Okay, share screen. I hate this thing. Okay, let me tab to a new window. It's not going to let me. I hate this thing so much. It'll let me do it on everybody else's stream, and now this stupid window's not going to close properly. So I'm going to have to look at it for the rest of the stream. Anyway, there's a guy who does Kenner packaging, new classic Kenner packaging. And I ordered a few and from him. Let's see, here's my transaction. Let's see. Okay, so he does new figures, new vintage. I wonder if I cover my face. There we go. So this is Red Leader, and he does them in the classic style. It's really cool. How do I go back? But come on. He does them for all kinds of things, but the thing that was cool is he started doing them for Raiders of the Lost Ark, for a whole new wave of Raiders of the Lost Ark figures. And so what people are doing are they're taking these classic cards and they're taking those figures that they did a few years ago for back. Oh my goodness. It's just such a mess. There he is. And he's doing all new packaging for them. And so people are putting the newer figures on classic packaging. And it really is very cool. It's by Kenner by King is his name. But he just doesn't do, he does Star Wars, but the one I had to get, which I needed, where are we here? I got this Doc Brown card that I'm going to put one of my reaction figures on. Back. And I got see, I can share screens and stuff as if I'm doing this on Internet Explorer, but it doesn't let me do it on Firefox. Here he's done ones for Batman 66. Star Trek 2. All right, focus. And I bought all these. I had to have them. They are mine, even if I never figure out what I'm going to do with them. What we could have gotten for Battlestar Galactica. Come on, just close. And he's got Superman. He's got Buck Rogers. He's got Batman 89. He had Flash Gordon. He's got Tron, RoboCop, all kinds. So it's Kenner by King on Etsy. So sorry, that was a diversion. So yeah, well, no, the $4 billion in debt they had to absorb killed Toys R Us. They couldn't pay their bills. The interest on $4 billion in debt, it's the exact same thing that happened to KB. We were forced to absorb over $1 billion in debt, and we couldn't pay our bills, and then we couldn't order stock. Then that was that. So Mark has ordered some of these before. If you go and take a look at that He did a great review of these. I was upset he didn't do a con. I'll have to admit it. That would be interesting. Taxi. I never would have thought of that. You know, and grumpy old Harrison Ford's great. He's 80 years old. He's making money. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and that's, they talked about Atlantis, but that script's been floating around for years, so we'll have to see. I hope so. But they've already said that they're going to use some de-aging stuff on Harrison, so I would assume it's either a flashback or it's a the Fountain of Youth story. So no, it's not Star Wars. There's no way it's Star Wars. I would assume. I don't know what he would be talking about. Because there's no way Super 7 cannot compete with Hasbro at all. Their normal base figures, these figures are $18 a piece. Nobody is going to pay $18 for a 5-point vintage looking Star Wars figure. Now, if they were given the right to make vintage, real retro vintage figures, maybe. But I don't think so. I think it's more likely something like The Last Starfighter, Battlestar Galactica, Buck Rogers, the A-Team, something like that. He's a big fan of a lot of things, so it's really hard to tell. I know, and he's teases a lot. But I mean, if you think about it, they've got a ton of stuff already: Transformers and Power Rangers and the Munsters and the Addams Family and all kinds of things. Universal Monsters, Pee-wee's Playhouse, SpongeBob. It worked pretty well. I'd say the best de-aging they've done was probably Robert Downey Jr. I think that was probably the best that they did. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard. Let's finish up these base figures though real quick. So, speaking on expanding that Mcqueary line, I would love this. A pre-cyborg Grievous. This is from some concept art and from a comic. And I mean, look at him. He's cool. Wouldn't you like that as a 6-inch figure? Chewbacca in gold. Don't need to do that. CZ4. Another random droid. We need more random droids in the Black Series figures. Here is an R2-D2 with cargo net from his adventures in the Ewok Village. And apart from wanting Max Rebo and the Rebo Band, this is Upra Stay. He was the drummer from the special edition of Return of the Jedi. And we don't necessarily need him as a 6-inch figure, but if they're going to do all of Max Rebo's band, it would be cool to have him. So those are the base figures from the 30th anniversary. And grab the Legends figures here in a minute once we get caught up with the chat here in a second, then we'll stop these from falling over. I might just have enough star cases to do this. We'll see. Okay, that's good enough for now. So, well, they share licenses now. I'm not sure if Hasbro, Playmates has the Turtle license. NECA makes Turtle figures. Super 7 makes Turtle figures. Playmates make Turtle figures. So it'd be interesting to see. Now, if they have the absolute master license, then there's no way I still think there's no way. When my mom watched Rogue One, she did not have any idea that Peter Cushing had passed away. And she was amazed. She said, wow, he looks just like he did forever ago. I was like, well, yeah, he looks really good considering he's been dead for 20 years. But there was still something, they call it uncanny valley, something about the eyes that you can't get right. Well, then don't do the eyes. You know, the guy Henry, who was playing the physical version of him in the film, they didn't really need it. So they could have just left him. We understand that he's dead. We get it. We're big boys and girls. We can figure out. Nobody's going to complain that, oh, that guy didn't look like it. Why doesn't he look like he does in 2 days? Blah blah. No. Well, maybe somewhat. Huh? Maybe. I don't know. You know, because they have Thundercats and they have Silverhawks. So I don't know. Wanted Grievous to be made from parts of Qui-Gon. Yeah. I mean, yeah, exactly. Transformers. They make Transformers. Super 7 makes G.I. Joe. Mezco's making G.I. Joe. The licensing's very weird because it's very spotty. There's a great possibility that Blue's right, and the only reason we got those retro figures is because Hasbro was about to lose some sort of rights to making those type of figures. So they had to make figures for the retro line in order to continue keeping that license. You know, the more likely thing is they wanted to get money from us. True. Yes, they can. The Marvel minifigs come out in August. There's 24 of them in Wave 1. Now, Star Wars, they're still playing with it, and that's why you get things like the Advent calendar that has a lot of them in it. And now they haven't done Star Wars yet, but the Marvel ones are actually coming. That's going to bankrupt people because then they're getting you ready for it because they've raised the price. So I don't know what those cost in England anymore, Mark, but over here minifigs are $5 a piece now. So you know, when Lucas was making Phantom Menace, he did say, and he was talking about Jar Jar, and Jar Jar was a very, very early CG character that was pretty much there. And he said, you know, it's going to be interesting that in 10 or 15 years, we're not going to need actors. He said, if I want Harrison Ford to come back, I can pay him to do a voice. Or he was kind of off the cuff, and he was like, because I already own his likeness. I can make a new Han Solo movie. I don't necessarily need Harrison. So it's very true. And they're getting better and better. Yeah, that's about right then. Yeah, because if they're $5 here, that's about right. So, you know, yeah. Yeah, and the Marvel ones, they've got a whole bunch. There's a whole bunch that are already out. But we'll see if they when they get here. I don't buy a whole lot of those anyway. I'm kind of out of Lego. Honestly, seeing the amount of money wasted on Legos recently has soured me greatly on Lego, and I just don't do anything with Lego anymore. Not even the minifigs, really. I bought a few of the Warner Brothers ones, and then I decided, nope, I'm not going to anymore. So, you know, if you go over to Arc or Goodwill, you can still find old copies of Star Wars. And Target has a VCR. You can put a VCR in, and it'll convert the VCR tape into a digital file. Now, I don't know if it works on copyrighted stuff. They didn't say anything, but There's also what's called the despecialized edition that you can find, which is they've basically made digital versions of the movies, but they've removed all the special edition stuff out of them. They're very well done, very pretty. They've color balanced them, everything else. So, so when they did these figures, they did a side set of figures, which is basically reproducing other figures and putting them out on new cards. These cards were called Saga Legends figures. And so they did a clone commander. And these also all came with coins. The 501 figure. A Chewbacca. And this is a way to re-release base figures that people could buy, or they ran contests like Fans Choice. And so we got an Imperial officer. And there's actually a couple different versions of this officer with a couple different face sculpts. I think there's actually 4 different versions of this figure. I think one he's got black hair, one he's got brown hair. He's got a different face sculpt on one of them. Here's another fan choice. This is R4I9. It's a black R4 unit. They did a set of pit droids. They actually did one in brown and one in tan, and one that's dirty, so that you could army build your pit droids. We also could use some pit droids and maybe a Soboba in the 6-inch figures. Speaking of army builders, here is battle droids. Now this one comes with a battle droid and a battle droid commander. There was another set that just came with a couple different battle droids with a little bit of battle damage on them. But they don't do army builder stuff like this anymore. There's a Sand Trooper, really nice and dirtied up. Oops. General Grievous comes with 4 different sabers. Here's another Sand Trooper. This is just a normal Sand Trooper. The other guy was actually a commander because he had the orange on his thingy. Here is the Revenge of the Sith clone trooper. These were a lot of troopers. This was a lot of army building waves. TC-14. There's you a shiny droid. RA7. He was another fan choice. He was a gold-colored protocolish droid that was on the Death Star. My favorite of all figures of all time, period, Scout Troopers. I love Biker Scouts. This one's got mud on his feet. It was cool. This is Darth Vader. This is not Anakin Skywalker. This is after he's turned and is on his way to kill some of the younglings. Let's see. This is pilot Obi-Wan Kenobi. Oh yeah. Yeah, that Mortal Kombat was weird. That you could play with RoboCop and Terminator was awesome. They got what was it, Call of Duty Heroes now or something like that? You can play as John McCain and Rambo. Or something else. That sounds like interesting information. In the green packaging, yeah, there's Power of the Jedi and Power of the Force, um, and those were the uh, in the green packaging. And they'd either come with a cell or a little booklet that told you all about them. They were cool. I love the coins, and if they're gonna make, they're gonna go through and make 6-inch figures in this packaging at some point, then they need to make sure that it gets a coin in them as well. I think they do really well. I loved the coins. I loved them in the Power of the Force line. You know, they were great back then too. And put him under the cupboard. Put him under the stairs. There's plenty of room for him under the stairs. Okay. Here's an Attack of the Clones version. This would be a Phase 1 clone trooper. The cool Darth Maul. This is called Jedi Attack. Oh, I wonder if he still works. Nope. So there was an electronic R2-D2, but his battery is dead. Poor R2. Poor R2. Poor father. If anybody gets that reference, you're old. Here is a Yoda, and he has, for some reason, been given a catapult type thing to shoot. I don't know why. There must have been a reason for it. Don't know. Here's another one that we need a figure of. In fact, they should make like all of the council. Senzikin. Love this guy. Sure. He got his butt whooped real quick, but he was going up against Palpatine. Palpatine's my boy. So, it's treason then. Here's Princess Leia in her Bosch disguise, which, if you're reading the Bounty Hunter comic, you're going to see a lot more, apparently, of that outfit and of Bosch and why Leia has Bosch's outfit. What line of Star Wars figures would be complete without a Boba Fett? None, because he had one outfit with a couple different dings on it, and they've made like 30 figures of him. All right, last figure in the Saga Legends line, he's got Dusty, is a Shock Trooper. So as you can see, there's literally tons. There's 60 figures here, of which there's only like 10 that have proper Black Series figures. Oh, in the new movie? Yeah, but as much as I love the Emperor, and he is my boy, and I'll watch him in anything, he didn't need to come back. If you're gonna do Dark Empire, you should have done Dark Empire. That is currently in the comics. If Brandon was still here, he could probably tell you. It's called War of the Bounty Hunters, I believe, and it takes place right after Empire Strikes Back. And it's basically what happens once Boba Fett leaves Cloud City and is trying to get to Jabba's palace with Han, and other bounty hunters try and stop him, try and steal Han. Meanwhile, Lando and Chewbacca are trying to get him back. Am I about right on that, Apprentice? Because there's several issues of it out now. It's a 35-issue comic over several different brands of Star Wars. So that basically is the premise of the comic, as much as I understand it. And you get to see where she gets Bosch's stuff, and you see Dengar and Forloom and Zuckuss and all that stuff back. So I think it'll be pretty cool. Yeah. Well, we don't know. Somehow the Emperor came back, and it's through cloning, we guess, because he's been trying to clone his body again. I have not read the Rise of Skywalker novel, which supposedly explains part of it. Basically, as the Emperor fell into the middle of the Death Star, before he hit the ground and went sploosh, he used the Force to release his essence, and his essence went to Exodor and tried to take over a clone body. But he was never able to find a body that could hold all the power of the dark side. And so they kept decaying, and so he had to keep making new ones while all those other people were making Star Destroyers. I don't know. Don't ask me the plot. It looked pretty. And I did like the look of him, and hopefully they'll do a Black Series figure of him. But it would have to be a deluxe one, because he never really, until the end, he doesn't get down. He's on the back of that crane thing. So, it would be cool, but aliens aren't sentient, really, and predators aren't very good in diplomacy, so they would not be part of the Galactic Senate. Now, we already know E.T. is, so, he was there, but, and in everybody else's headcanon, that's why E.T. recognized what Yoda, in E.T., Yoda, he recognizes Yoda and tries to follow him. Well, that's because he was a member of the Senate, and he knew Yoda from the Senate. That's everybody's headcanon. So, yeah, E.T. was there. So it would be cool. But I think Aliens and Predator have enough problems crossing over with themselves. Now they're both Disney products now, so they could cross over with no real problems. But I would rather watch a Wolverine versus Predator or something like that, or a really well done Predator versus Alien. Yeah. See, that was back when all this came out. That's what I said, is that somehow the Emperor knew that Vader was going to turn on him. So he sent one of his clones. And that's who died. Well, there was that entire beginning of the production of Rise of Skywalker where Matt Smith was attached to the movie, and everybody wouldn't say that Matt Smith was a clone. So I think at some point something went wrong, and they decided to rewrite the script and get rid of Matt Smith. But it would have been better if they would just left him as a clone as Matt Smith, But yeah, I like Jawas. They're cute. Yeah. Yeah. And it would be interesting to see how deep into the film they rewrote that, because he was supposed to be in it as a young Palpatine, either a young Palpatine or a clone, and then that got all written out and cut out. So someday that that gag order will be lifted, and we'll actually know what happened. Hopefully sooner rather than later, because I really, they made some great books, The Making of Star Wars, The Making of Return of the Jedi, The Making of Empire, and they didn't mince words. They tell you when stuff wasn't going wrong or things that were changed in the script and stuff now. And they kind of did that with The Phantom Menace and The Attack of the Clones in the art books. But I really would like to see them, just warts and all. What went wrong with Rogue One? What went wrong with Solo? What did the original cuts of those movies look like? I don't want to see them. This isn't a Zack Snyder release the verse thing. I just would like to know what those scripts looked like and what went so horribly wrong with Solo that they had to replace those guys with Ron Howard. And what went so horribly wrong with Rogue One that they had to bring somebody in to re-edit and reshoot a quarter of the movie. Because, if you watch that first trailer, that doesn't have a lot to do with the movie we ended up watching. So I would like to see that stuff. And it's like this past couple weeks, the problem is now the fandom is so split that people would use that against them. The fandom menace would take that stuff, just like they did this last week or two when I think JJ came out and said, yeah, it probably would have been good to have an overarching plan before we started the sequels. Well, yeah, he makes movies. He should have known that there needed to be an overarching plan. Now, he's never sat down and made 3 movies. So when he made Star Trek, he was like, okay, I've made Star Trek and now you can go do Star Trek. And so the other people took over. When he made his Mission Impossible movie, okay, I've reset Mission Impossible, now you make your own shit. So he did the same thing with Star Wars. Well, Star Wars doesn't work like that. Star Wars was not set up to be single movies. We are programmed to think of Star Wars in trilogies. Now with Rogue One and Solo, that's a little more, we're getting used to Star Wars being a story and then not having anything make Solo 2 happen. Yeah, we already have 2 active doctors. That both those girls. But who knows what they're going to be doing with Doctor Who? I think Doctor Who needs to take like a 5-year break and then come back again. And that's what Book of Boba Fett will all be about. And I won't ever say that the sequel trilogy is not canon or it's not. It's definitely not my Star Wars, but it wasn't made for me. It was made for kids. It was made for the next generation. And I can understand that because I understood the prequels. Except for Attack of the Clones, which I don't particularly care for at all. I understood the prequels. I understand them as a historical analogy to what happened here in Earth. So I didn't understand why everybody was attacking George. Really didn't understand why they were attacking Hayden and why they were attacking, Natalie Portman. She is a block of wood sometimes. But you can only be, if you're an actor, you're only as good as your script and your director. You can't take a kid like Jake Lloyd, who's never done anything in his life, and put the weight of Star Wars on his back. Of course, he's not going to do an incredible job. He's going to do what he can. You have George Lucas, who A, isn't very good with kids, and B, is not a very good director and wants things faster. Let's go. Come on, reshoot faster. Let's go. Quicker, and it showed. But to attack Daisy Ridley or John Boyega or any of those people for the sequels is not fair. The problem with the sequels are with the story group and with the director. The effects are beautiful. John Williams did what he could. Can you imagine being John Williams as old as he is, and they haven't even finished The Rise of Skywalker 2 weeks before it's supposed to come out, and they're coming to you and say, okay, hurry up, let's come on, needed end credit music here. Yeah, we cut that whole scene, don't worry about that. It's sick, and so I'll never blame the actors. What's her name, who played Rose Tico? Horrible character, but she seems like a very nice person, and everybody's like comparing her to a potato because of her costume. She's a very pretty girl, and that costume did no justice to her whatsoever, and that's the costume designer's fault. John Boyega, in the EU, he is a badass. In the movies, he is a bumbling janitor who may or may not be force sensitive. We'll see. Well, we don't know. Well, the fandom wants him to be gay. Well, only parts of the fandom wants him to be gay. Well, let's He can't be dating the white girl, so let's find him a nice black girl he can date. Well, let's make her force sensitive too, maybe. Oh, are all stormtroopers force sensitive? And that's the kind of stuff you should have hammered out before we went there. You know. And I hate J.J. Abrams for what he did to Star Trek. Now I understand because of the split between CBS and Paramount, there was only certain things he was allowed to do. But I think they needed to walk away from Kirk and Spock and McCoy. The actors did a great job, except for Chris Pine, who made Kirk just an absolute. You can't like him as a character. They should have started out on a different ship, never mentioned the Enterprise, and started their own little thing. You didn't need to have Kirk and Spock. Most of this generation didn't know who they were anyway, and all you did was piss us older figures of people off because you decided to just erase all of Star Trek because you were having a fight with CBS. You know. Yeah. We're assuming that. That Crate Dragon is pretty damn cool. Yeah, and that's the kind of dialogue you get from George Lucas. Are you an angel? Well, that made more sense when he was about 5 years older. He was about 14-ish. She was around 15 or 16. And he had been having force dreams that he didn't understand, and he could just make her out. Well, that makes more sense because he saw her in his dreams. You know, and Boyega was great. Boyega was great with everybody. You know, it was they didn't get together enough. They split them up because they suddenly wanted to make Kylo and Rey a thing. I will never understand that. There's nobody who can explain to me why she would love him or anything at all. Yeah. Well, he says the worst thing that happened to him is he became the Empire, and people were afraid to tell him no. So, you know, it happens. You know, a Disney Plus series set in the sequels area would not be bad as long as they plan it out. As long as, you know, just don't suddenly come up with new ways to use light speed. You suddenly come up with new force powers that were only used in video games and were never part of canon. You know, you don't have space horses. There's a whole bunch of easy things. The biggest thing that scared me was there was a shot once when they were talking about stuff, upcoming stuff, and what people wanted and stuff. And one of the things on the have to have side was dinosaurs. I don't want dinosaurs in Star Wars at all. Never. Yeah, they weren't given anything to work with, and the scripts were constantly being changed. And God knows what the last movie was such a pile. Who knows? Carl Urban was a great McCoy. He really was. He was really good as Judge Dredd too. And see, Chris Pine, where Shatner came across as roguish, kind of Han Solo-y, Chris Pine came across as a tool who, you owe it to me because look how pretty I am. And that's how he came across. Yep, he was definitely spot on. I would love to have seen a Dredd series or another sequel to that Dredd movie. Hey, Downfall, what's up? The Rise of, yeah, like we said the other day, Rise of Skywalker was 5 good movies smushed into one, or at least it had 5 good ideas. And it tried to retcon The Last Jedi, and you just needed to accept that The Last Jedi happened, that Carrie passed, and your plans fell apart. You know, even Lucas said the third trilogy was supposed to be mostly a Leia story. Well, that couldn't happen. Carrie passed, you know, and they were passing the baton. Plus, I think too much time took place. I think that was right after Revenge of the Sith when he was talking about getting that going. Well, that would have been 10 years. You could have made it 20 years after Return of the Jedi, and everybody would have looked better. Not that they looked bad, but Carrie had a hard life, and Carrie, Carrie left us far too early. But in JJ's world, it really messed his script up, and I think the opening crawl should have been something along the lines of, it's a dark time for the Resistance. The First Order has been gaining ground. There is a dark presence, an unknown dark presence, reaching out from Exodor, or dark, whatever. And the Resistance has lost many great leaders, including Princess Leia Organa, or General Organa. And you kill her off screen. And then what it is Poe's trying to run things. That's what you give Poe to do, because Hodor killed herself in the last movie. They killed Admiral Akbar, so then you don't have anybody. So the Poe's basically in charge of the Resistance, trying to get everything going. I think that's still where it should have been done. Yeah, I can't do JJ Trek. I've tried. I've watched each of the movies. I've watched Discovery. I've tried to watch Picard. Talk about crap. I mean, I can't. And again, I'll try again when Picard season 2 starts, because Q's there. But I can't do JJ verse Star Trek. And I can't. It's like the new Battlestar Galactica. Everybody loves it. I can't stand it. It's the West Wing in space. There are no likable characters apart from Starbuck, and they kill her. It's not my Battlestar, and it doesn't need to be. I just didn't watch it. Everybody else can watch it. You can love it. I'll tell you I don't like it and why I don't like it. But if you like it, that's great. It's some great actors on there. The scripts seem to be pretty good. They took a more realistic view to the apocalypse that, they, Corellia, whatever the hell their planet was called, suffered. But, yeah. Yeah, she had unfortunately relapsed and done some damage. So it kind of made me mad. But no, it was a heart attack because of the drugs, Mark. They did find drugs in her system, cocaine. But she was old and her heart couldn't take that kind of crap anymore, and she was pushing herself. She admitted it during the filming of Force Awakens that she was really, pushing herself to try and get back into shape, to remember lines and to do stuff. And she said it didn't come back to her as quickly as it did for Harrison. But Harrison had still been working for years. She was mostly a script doctor. Yeah, you can pull his eyeballs. I mean, what's up with the Irish Romulans? There's so much weird about Picard. I don't know. I'm hoping Q comes back and looks at Picard deep and says, "You're not Picard," and brings him back. Because right now he's dead. He's a robot. Picard's dead. You can't have a Picard season 2. There is no Picard. So I hope that Q brings him back. Yeah, they did say that if she hadn't been on the plane, they'd have been able to do more for her and would have been able to, every Romulus has an Ireland. Reminds me of that line in when in the newest episode, the first new episode of Doctor Who, and he's talking to, I think, her mom, and to her, I guess. He's trying to convince her that he's an alien, And she says, "Why do you sound like you're from the north?" And he said, "Most planets have a north." And it was like, well, that explained that. Next. But see how you explain that away? You know, I don't know. The Irish, they don't need to be Irish. It's never been an Irish one. Never even really been English. You know, but yeah, you sound like you're from the north. Exactly, Mark. Um, Patrick Stewart's great in almost everything he does. My favorite thing he's pretty much ever done is A Christmas Carol. And before he did the version for USA, he did a one-man traveling show where he was all the characters. And he would read A Christmas Carol the same way that Charles Dickens did when he wrote it in the first place. And he would stand up and he would do the exact same thing, and it was brilliant. I have it on audio, and I listen to it every Christmas. It makes me happy. Yeah, yeah. I liked 3 too, and I've grown to appreciate Peter Davison and Colin Baker more as I've gotten older. But I grew up on Tom Baker, and the change from Tom to Peter Davison, I wasn't prepared for and didn't like. But I was really young then, and I watch everything Peter Davidson's in. He's great. If you really want to watch him in some great stuff, there's a series called The Last Detective, and he plays this kind of older um, DCI who just never got promoted, and so he fumbles around, but he's the one who solves the cases because he still does old-fashioned police work. So he's great. Oh, cool. Yeah, and uh, which Patrick, Picard or the Doctor? And see, here in America, we did get some second and third Doctor, but most PBS stations over here started carrying the Doctor with Tom Baker, and then we backtracked and saw the other ones. But here in Denver, we really got the very last of the third Doctor in the begin, and then the fourth, all the way through the seventh Doctor. Um, if it's Patrick Stewart, he is a great guy. I've met him a couple different times, and I got to tell him how much I love. In fact, one of my autographs is of him from uh, A Christmas Carol. Um, so yeah, he's a nice guy. He really is. Stewart, yeah, okay. I know. Talk about incestuous. David Tennant married his previous self's daughter. Ugh, creepy. Can't blame him though. She's pretty damn cute. I rode an elevator with Patrick Stewart once when he was at one of our cons. Um, I was in the elevator, and then him and his two entourage people came with him onto the elevator. And, that's where I got to talk to him about Christmas Carol because he was going all the way up to the top, and I wasn't getting off the elevator. I got a chance to talk to Patrick Stewart. So, finally I got to say, excuse me, Mr. Stewart, you mind if I talk to you for a second? He's like, oh, go ahead. Because what is he going to say? He's trapped. And I didn't talk to him about Trek. I talked to him about the Christmas Carol because that meant more to me. And um, it was my grandmother's favorite version of it as well. And so he really appreciated that I didn't talk to him about Star Trek because that was back when he was still, the Next Generation was still on the air, and he was still getting crap from his Shakespeare friends that he was daring to do this television show in America. Why would you lower yourself to American television, Patrick? Don't you understand what you're doing to your career? You are a trained Shakespearean actor, and you're doing these, fire the phases. And now they're all on sci-fi stuff too, and they wish they'd been Patrick Stewart and taken the opportunity, you know. That was a good Rose. I liked Rose. Rose grew on me. Um, I think when they wrote Rose, the actress who plays Rose looks older than I think the part was written for. I think the part was supposed to be written for like a 19 or 20-year-old, and the actress looked more mid 20s to early 30s. So she came off as this slacker who, with a slacker boyfriend, she at least has a job. He doesn't even have a job. They just lounge around the house and drink tea. And I don't know, maybe that's what you do in England. And go to the pub. But, you know, um, I've never been a big fan of the Doctor falling in love with his companions. You form a good, decent relationship. To me, one of the perfect um, um, Sarah Jane will always be my favorite companion because she not only was tough and strong in her own way, but she would tell the Doctor when he was doing something wrong, and she would stand up for it. That's why I like Kathleen Tate, her companion, because she would just call David Tennant out on his shit, and they were perfect together. You know, yes, Clara got extreme hate because I know they didn't understand her character, she didn't understand her character, and we didn't understand her character. She's the impossible girl. Why is she the impossible girl? And then she went back, and you find out that, except they retconned all that eventually, that basically she's the reason Doctor Who exists, and she went back and saved him over and over again. And I think that's where a lot of that hate comes from. She became I'm going to say it again. She's like Wesley Crusher. Oh, Excalibur, such a good movie, so shiny. Uh, yes, I think BritBox is the only place that streams Doctor Who now. Um, Mark will have to let me know. Oh, that would explain her. No, I did not know that. That would explain why she was cast, because it was to draw in her fans. Ah. Oh, yeah, BritBox. Yep, yeah. That and then she passed a couple years later after getting her own show. And that reunion episode was beautiful. When it runs across, it still makes me tear up because David Tennant got it. He understood the connection between the Doctor and Sarah Jane, and between K9 and the Doctor. And that whole episode was beautiful, just beautiful. Yeah, um, you can get BritBox. It's $5 a month. You can either get it through Amazon or you can just get it on its own. It's just another streaming service, but it basically does everything that I think it's everything ITV and BBC does. It's a combined thing. I know it's on Amazon. So, oh, cool. I did not know that. Well, there you go, Captain. Pluto TV has some old Doctor Who episodes. Well, and it's not like their ratings were bad. And don't get me wrong, I like Matt Smith. And you can't, him and Amy and Rory together were some glorious episodes. But you didn't need to force David out, you know. Um, it's, I don't know. Yeah, and then, he got to say that I don't want to leave. The most powerful ending of any Doctor. I don't want to leave, and then is gone. Excellent. You will enjoy it. There's Faulty Towers. There's the young ones. I think Red Dwarf might be on there. I'm not sure if Dave has anything on there or not. But Dad's Army. Are You Being Served? Brita's Empire. The New Statesman. Father Ted. The Vicar of Dibley. The great shows on there are endless. you'll start watching Doctor Who and you'll end up somewhere completely different. Um, but anyway, oh, geez, it's been over 2 hours. So thank you guys for dropping by. I may do a couple streams here and there. Oh, yes, please do. While you're here, please hit a like, hit the bell. I've noticed that I've had to go through and re-hit the bell and even the subscribe button on people I know I was subscribed to. And I know I hit the bell for. Like GeForce, I missed something GeForce put out, and I went back and it had taken my bell off. So I had to re-ring that bell. So make sure you ring the bell, hit the like button for me if you would, please. If you really enjoy my channel, please share it out with everybody. If you really enjoy the channel, there's a little thing pinned up at the top of the screen. Order a t-shirt, order a pint glass, have a pint. Oh, Sapphire and Steel, good show. Yeah. Yeah, and you know, I don't know why there's this weird arbitrary thing that after 3 years a doctor has to change. You know, Tom Baker was the doctor for like 7 years, I think. So, you know, thanks, Robert. Means a lot. I will be back at least every Monday. I may start doing some midweek stuff as well. I might start doing some more streams for video games. I'm about 700 hours away from monetization, which I'm not actually sure I'm going to do yet. But it would be nice to get those last 700 hours. So if you do have a computer and you'd like to open up a tab, hit mute and just let the videos run overnight, I would appreciate that too. So all eyes are good eyes. All likes are great. All dislikes are okay. If you don't like it, let me know. So I have a lot of hours this week. I think I have 64 scheduled hours at work this week. So I don't know how much I'll get done, but I would like to do a couple more small collection streams. This was bigger than I thought it was because I found a whole nother box that I didn't know I had, which is kind of par for the course if you've been watching this site for a while. So I will talk to you all later. I will try not to, Mark. I will be on everybody else's streams throughout the week. Make sure you guys check Sleeping Collectibles. He has a big giveaway tomorrow night, a Obi-Wan Legacy lightsaber. So go over and check out his channel. And he'll be doing that tomorrow night. I don't know what time that is. But stay safe, everybody. If you haven't gotten vaccinated, get vaccinated. It's the easiest way we're all going to get back to normal. I know it's dumb. You know it's dumb. But it's the way we're going to get back to normal. So talk to you all later. Thank you. Good night.